A special thanks to our Man School sponsor, Phone Plus. Business telephone service, custom branding, marketing, quality, security, stability, guaranteed savings. PremierPhonePlus.com.
All right, check 1, 2, we good? All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for letting me come hang out today. Brought my son Jet with me, right down here on the front. All right. Sometimes I do crazy things, like not fun crazy, more like what the heck is wrong with me crazy. One morning I took my oldest son, Kobe, he's 20 now, this was years ago, to McDonald's because he loves their pancakes. He doesn't like my pancakes. My son Jed will tell you I make the best pancakes on earth, but my oldest son, Kobe, doesn't like them. He prefers McDonald's. To bond with him, I take him there to get McDonald's pancakes. So we're ordering, he gets his 3 stacks of pancakes, cup of water, that's his go-to. I got my sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin meal, black coffee. We go to sit down, kind of around the corner, and I just realized they forgot his water cup. Not a big deal. So I walk back to the counter, I'm simply gonna politely ask for a water cup. There's a guy right on the other side of the counter, literally watching coffee brew. They're not busy this particular day. And the other thing he's doing is he's scrolling on his phone. He looks up at me, makes eye contact, and then just looks back down to his phone and keeps scrolling whatever he's scrolling. I felt a little bubble right about here. Look over to the drive-through window, and there's a guy, he's got the earpiece, they're not busy again, nobody's in the drive-through, he's leaning on the wall with the earpiece, scrolling his phone, looks up at me, makes eye contact, and then just looks back down to his phone and keeps scrolling. Turns to more of a simmer, right about here. Look into the back through the little window. There's a guy back there, he is busy, he's making something. But he looks out, makes eye contact, doesn't call out, does someone want to help the gentleman at the counter? He just kind of looks back down and keeps cooking, and then it boiled over. I charge behind the counter at McDonald's. I'm back there with them now. I have their attention. They're no longer scrolling their phone. They're looking at me with raised eyebrows, wondering what this guy is capable of. I snatched my own cup, not a water cup either. I got like the giant plastic, supersized, grabbed my own cup, and glaring at them, I walked with energy and pace, back out from behind the counter, over to the fountain area, keeping track of them with my peripheral vision, smash the thing into the, just aggressive energy, and then finally disappear back around the corner and slide my water cup over, to my son. Now, an hour later, I, of course, calmed down and all that kind of stuff. And this is when I find myself trapped, spinning on a singular thought. And that thought is, what the heck is wrong with me? I am a full-grown man. I teach people how to have emotional intelligence and healthy relationships. And I still charge behind counters at McDonald's when, I'm ignored or treated with indifference or something. And what's that about? The truth is, I'm not crazy, and likely neither are you. Sometimes, though, we do crazy things, embarrassing things, things we regret. Things we promise ourselves we're going to stop doing, but we can't. And what's that about? Allow me to introduce you to a framework this morning by a guy named Mike Foster. He's a buddy, he's alive and well, lives out in Carlsbad in the San Diego, California area. And the framework I want to show you is called the 7 Primal Questions. As a human being, you have 7 emotional needs that's bumping around in your heart. 7 things you need as a human to thrive emotionally. We all want to know the answer to these questions. Question number 1, am I safe? Question number 2, am I secure? That's different. Question 3, am I loved? Question 4, am I wanted? Question 5, am I successful? Question 6, am I good enough? Question 7, do I have a purpose? Again, as humans, we carry all 7 questions. But each of us individually carries one of those questions that represents the deepest emotional need that you have. And that deepest emotional need that you have, that varies from person to person. You all have one. And whichever primal question got imprinted on you in childhood, listen to this, drives your behavior. It drives your thoughts and the way you process things. It drives your sense of well-being. So here's what we are going to do today, miraculously, in the amount of time we have. We're going to help you first identify your deepest emotional need. You're going to figure out which one of these is your primal question. Secondly, we're going to help you name the behaviors you employ to try and get that need met, or to avoid the discomfort of not having it met. Okay, that's the second thing. Okay. Third, we're going to teach you what your primal superpower is. And you've all got one. And then fourth, we're going to ask you to identify how you plan to unleash that superpower. Okay, so here we go. First, how do you identify your deepest emotional need? Well, to try to do that today, I'm going to lightly teach through each one of these 7 primal questions very, very quickly. And as I do, I simply want you to pay attention and see which one you connect with the most. So for each question, I'll reveal 3 things, and you can kind of go, is that me? Is that not me? First, I'll teach what each question wants to know above all else. Secondly, what each question's core fear is. And then third, some anecdotal tendencies that each question demonstrates. Okay? So let's start with PQ1. If you are a primal question number 1, your primal question is, am I safe? Incidentally, the guy who kind of put language to this framework, Mike Foster, he's a PQ1. His primal question is, am I safe? PQ1s want to know, will I be okay? Am I protected? Is life against me? Will I survive? If you're a PQ1, that's what you want to know. The core fear of PQ1s is being harmed. Okay? Physically, sure. Emotionally, yep. Mentally harmed, yes. Spiritually harmed, of course. Okay? But they just are consumed with and look through the lenses of, am I at risk of being harmed? So, for PQ1s, there's a fear of experiencing pain and not being able to survive or figure it out. For PQ1, they tend to see the world as a pretty hostile place or a risky place at best, often since they or those they love are in danger, so they're hypervigilant. Commonly, PQ1s are dedicated to pretty intense risk management. Okay? So, if you have automatic lights and cameras on the exterior of your house, if you participate in exactly 0 activities where you could get hurt, if you hate surprises, you might be a PQ1. All right. PQ2s are different. Their question is, am I secure? And they want to know something different than a PQ1. They want to know, is there going to be enough? Is something going to run out? Are they going to leave me eventually? Okay. And the core fear of the PQ2 is, of course, not having enough or something eventually running out in reality. So fear of running out of money and not being able to pay the bills, or it's not going to last, for the rest of your life until you die. Seeing the world from a scarcity mindset. There's only so much that can go around, and I got to get mine and kind of, lock it away and secure it. PQ2s commonly fixate on stashing and saving and protecting what they have. So, if you rarely spend anything and tend to save all your money, if you choose not to take emotional or relational risks with people, I just kind of go along to get along as I don't want to push them away or make them leave or something, so you're very conservative or a bit passive relationally. And if you apologize to people constantly, oh, I'm sorry, my bad, I'm sorry about that, my bad, you might be a PQ2. PQ3s, their question is, am I loved? PQ3s want to know, do you see me? Am I truly known by you? And are we emotionally connected? The core fear of a PQ3 is being utterly and completely alone. PQ3s fear their voice isn't being heard or considered. They worry about being invisible to a world that is blurring by them. And indifference towards them is torturous. You might be able to guess what I am now after the McDonald's story. So if you have to return a text or a phone call within the hour that it came, if you have trouble saying no when someone asks for your help, okay? And if you get really dysregulated when someone treats you with indifference, okay? You might be a PQ3. PQ4s, sometimes people think this is the same thing, but it's not. PQ4's question is, am I wanted? And PQ4s want to know, do I belong? Do I belong here? Do I fit in? Do you want me for me? Not just for what I know, not just for what I can do. Do you want me for me? And the core fear of a PQ4 is past indifference. It's being rejected. Okay? So fear that you're going to be left out. You didn't get the invite. Worry that you're going to be replaced by somebody better than you. Attempting to engage and then being politely shunned, like you're just accommodating me or something. Nightmare for a PQ4. Okay? So here's some positive things here. If you look for outsiders and invite people to participate who are on the periphery, if you love it when people show interest in you and they pursue you with curiosity, they ask you questions about your life and, they're curious about you. If you have an extra pep in your step when you're invited to join in a group activity or an outing, you might be a PQ4. PQ5, we've got 3 more here, folks. PQ5s want to know, their question is, am I successful? But they want to know, am I a winner? Competitively. Do people notice my talents? Have I achieved or accomplished enough yet? Okay? That is the core question of the PQ5. The core fear of the PQ5 is being seen by others as incompetent. So fear that you aren't reaching your full potential. Worry about falling short of your key goals and initiatives. or belief that you're only as good as your last win. These are the core fears of the PQ5. If you have imposter syndrome and often feel unqualified to play the role that you're being asked to play or to be in the meeting that you're in, if you have scratch that. I skipped ahead. If you have to solve every problem and fix whatever's broken, if you have to be early everywhere you go, and you are immensely frustrated when you're running late, if you already have a job, would rather work than hang out, and already have a savings account with a decent amount of money in it, okay, you might be a PQ5. If you're a PQ6, your primal question is, am I good enough? PQ6s want to know, do I matter? Do I have the right to exist? Why do things never seem to work out for me? Okay. The core fear of PQ6s is being negatively judged or thought of. Negatively judged or thought of. So to be negatively thought of, to be criticized, or to be called out or accused is the core fear of the PQ6. If you have imposter syndrome and feel unqualified, that's the right one for that one. If you have the skills of a CIA agent to disappear into isolation, self-withdrawal, and if you constantly grapple with a fierce inner critic that lives inside your own head, you might be a PQ6. And the last one, the PQ7, their question is, do I have a purpose? PQ7s want to know, am I having an impact bigger than myself? Am I on the right path? Because for a PQ7, it's not like, left, right, just glorify God. No, there's a right path. And am I on it? Does my life matter? Will it resonate after I'm gone? The core fear of PQ7s is a life with no purpose. To live a life of insignificance, to worry about not living up to your potential, to feel consumed by figuring out your calling or your life's direction. If you have difficulty settling in or committing to things, if you feel restless even when things are going well, and if small everyday tasks like chores make you feel like you're wasting your life, okay, you might be a PQ7. So at this point, you may have confirmed what your primal question is. Maybe one of those went like, no doubt, it's that one. Or maybe you've got some options. It's like, I don't know, I kind of resonated with 2 or 3 of those. I'm kind of between, a couple of them. I don't want you to feel pressure of having your PQ nailed down right now in this moment, but I just want you to land on one. Pick one that you feel like might be the closest, okay? Hold it loose. You can explore it more later, but just pick one that might be the closest. And I'd like to get a sense of which primal questions are here in the room today. So by showing of the hands, how many of you feel like maybe you're a PQ1? Am I safe? 0 PQ1s. All right, we all feel safe today. That's great. PQ2s, am I secure? Yes, couple of those. Yep, few of those, all right, yes. PQ3s, am I loved? Okay, several of us. Thanks for joining the group. We can start our own support group after this session. PQ4s, am I wanted? Yep, several of those. PQ5s, am I successful? Yes, yes, sprinkling, yes. PQ6s, am I good enough? Yep, a few of those. And PQ7s, do I have a purpose? Yes, very good. So every number well represented, except for the PQ1. No PQ1s, which that's a fascinating group study. I'd love to dig into that. Like, what is it about man school that we're not drawing PQ1s? That's great. Okay, In this next quick segment of the presentation, you're through segment 1. Nice job, everybody. We made it. Segment 2. In this quick segment, we are going to look at how the primal question you just identified, even though you might be holding it loose, how does that question drive your life, drive your behaviors, drive your thoughts, those types of things, okay? To do that, I need to get psychological. I'm sorry, just for a second. I won't be here long, I promise. Your brain does something amazing without you even knowing it. And it's called neuroception, okay? Neuroception is when you walk into a room, your brain is scanning the environment. It's scanning facial expressions. It's scanning tones of voice. It's scanning body language. It's trying to get a read on the energy in the room, okay? And it's doing all of this while asking itself your primal question, the deepest emotional need that you have, the one you care about the most, okay? So at baseline, for example, if you are a PQ1, you walked in here today and your brain, without you even knowing it, was scanning everything and everybody, and it wants to know one thing and one thing only: am I safe? Only nobody here was asking that question when they walked in today. But it wants to know, am I safe? If you're a PQ4, you walked in, you started engaging with people, you started getting a scan of the environment, your brain wanted to know, am I wanted here at Man School? And so on, okay? Now, when you walk into the room, and your brain scans and collects all the data that it's soaking in without you realizing it, and it decides on its own, doesn't need your help, that the answer to your question is, yeah, yep, I'm safe. Yes, I'm loved. Yeah, I'm wanted here, like whatever your question is, okay? If it decides the answer is yes, you feel great. You can relax. You can enjoy the moment. You can be totally present, you know? But if your brain collects all that data, and for whatever reason it perceives the answer is no, the answer is no. I'm being seen as incompetent right now, you know, if you're a PQ5. Or the answer is no, they don't think I'm good enough. Like I'm not good enough to be here at Man School or something, right? You do not feel okay. And that's even true if the answer is, I'm not sure. It doesn't even have to be a hard no. It can just be, more evidence needed. Not quite sure yet. I'm still trying to figure that out, okay? That's when you feel dysregulated. That's when you feel disoriented. That's when you feel uncomfortable. And that, my friends, is what activates your scramble. You all had maps sitting on your chairs when you walked in today. And right at the top of that map, you'll see 3 circles or 3 bubbles. And it says, my scramble behavior, okay? First thing I want you to do on that map, you should have pens, right in the blank, right above the PQ, your primal question. So for me, I just wrote mine in there. I would write, am I loved, in that blank, okay? So go ahead and do that. And then let's assume I walked in here today and my brain's asking my question, am I loved? And for whatever reason, my brain decides, not quite sure. More evidence needed, okay? That is what's going to activate my scramble behaviors, okay? Here's what a scramble is. Your scramble is anything you do to try to turn your no or maybe perceived answer to a yes. I'll repeat that, it's really important. Your scramble behavior are attempts that you are going to engage in, behaviors you're going to engage in, to try and turn your perceived no or maybe answer to a yes. Okay? For example, I'm a PQ3. Am I loved? When my brain collects information and decides the answer to my question is either no or maybe, with the group I'm with my wife, with my kids, whatever it is, okay? One of the things I'm gonna do when I scramble is I'm gonna people please. Okay? What do I need to do? Who do I need to become? How do I need to interact with you? What do I need to say? How do I need to serve to get you feeling real good so I can feel good? Because if I can do something like bring you a cup of coffee, give up my seat for you, fill out your name tag for you, be real curious and interested in your life. Like, if I can get you feeling good about me, I'll feel loved. The moment I read you do. It's like, oh, thanks, man. Thanks for the coffee. You know, like, oh, okay, maybe I am loved here in this place. Okay. So people please is something that I might write in one of those blanks. A second thing that I do though, because I got options, I got a bag of tricks in my scramble to try to turn my no or maybe answer to a yes. I might choose to intellectualize. Okay. That's where I start dropping insights, breaking things down, sharing what I know to try to impress you or gain value with you because you think I'm smart. We went to dinner with a group of brand new couples that we didn't really know well. We just kind of had met in a context like, let's all go to dinner together and get to know each other. So I'm sitting with this group of couples, my wife, myself, and 4 other couples. And I'm sitting there at this dinner and my brain is reading them, reading what's going on, reading the interest, reading everything. And apparently it decided the answer to my primal question was, not sure whether or not you're loved here at this table or not. And I started to scramble using intellectualize. Here's what happened. This was several years ago. The show Ted Lasso was very popular at that point in time. Everybody was watching Ted Lasso. So they had their favorite characters and they had their favorite moments and scenes. And so they were just sharing that. Here's my favorite character and why. Here's my favorite scene. Oh, this was so funny when this happened. Here's my favorite quote from Ted Lasso. I start to psychoanalyze all the characters from Ted Lasso at the table. I'm like, let me tell you what Roy Kent's got going on. Here's why he's all walled up and tough and acts like, and I'm psychoanalyzing Roy. And here's what Ted Lasso's got going on. I know he's likable, but like, here's what's going on in his head, and I'm psychoanalyzing him. And I start going through all the characters, psychoanalyzing them. You guys, I saw them hazing over. I saw them checking out and looking at their phones and their watches and and it was like watching a car crash in slow motion. I couldn't stop myself because my brain was telling me at the time, you got to show them how smart you are and convince them that you've got all these amazing insights you can offer if they will just love you. Okay, so that's the second thing I'll do. Go to a Bible study. You don't want to go to a Bible study with me when my brain's telling me I'm not loved in that Bible study. I'll start parsing out the Greek words and the Hebrew, the historical analysis. Let me tell you the theological deep insights I have. And people are like, who is this guy? It's so awkward. But it's one of my scrambles. It's like when I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm loved, I'll start working you through a framework, whatever it is. Okay, so I intellectualize. That's a second scramble behavior I have. Or if those don't work, or sometimes I just jump straight to it, a third scramble I have, I call it big bully energy. And this is when I charge behind counters at McDonald's. Okay, this is when you call my shot out in pickleball, and I'm like, you kidding me? Really? That's how you want to win? By cheating? Because I saw 3 inches inside that line. Whatever it is. Big bully energy. I demand that you love me. I demand you show me the attention that I deserve. Okay? And I'm going to convince you. When I do that at McDonald's, what I'm wanting them to do is go, oh, sir, we had no idea. We thought maybe you answered on the fancy screens out there and you were just politely waiting for your order. If we had only known that you needed something from us, we would have dropped everything. Here's a free meal for your inconvenience. I'm looking for them to backpedal and reassure me. This is just a big misunderstanding and you were loved the whole time. Okay. So, big bully energy is another one that I can do. Okay. I want you to go ahead and fill out at least 3 scramble behaviors by writing them in those bubbles at the top of your page. What do you do when your brain tells you the answer to your primal question is no or maybe? How are you now going to behave to try to turn that perceived no or maybe answer to a yes? Write a couple things there at the top of the page. And as you're doing that, I wonder if one or two of you would be willing to just share with the group, like, here's one of my scrambles. Here's one of the things that I do when I'm thinking the answer to my question is no or maybe. Anybody willing to share a scramble you're aware of? Yes.
Take a shot at two of them.
Yeah, please.
So my
Primal question.
question was, am I good enough?
Am I good enough?
And I think one of my scramble is if I feel like I'm under some sort of attack,
Yep.
usually related to something that I did,
Yep.
I immediately go into a defense mode.
Yes. Defense mode. You could write defense mode in your bubble.
It's just automatic.
Yeah.
Get out of the thing.
That's right.
Trying to, but I don't.
Yep. Great.
One though is I can't tell if it's really a scramble mode or not, but most of us in here have some athletic backgrounds, and you're conditioned to believe that if better is possible, then good isn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this, whether it's business, whether it's digging weeds out of the flower beds, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You're driven to get it perfect.
Yes.
As best as it can be.
I become perfectionistic.
Yeah.
That could be in your second bubble.
I don't know if that's a scramble mode.
100%.
Okay, well, those
My brain's telling me the answer to my question, am I good enough, is no or maybe. I'll raise the bar. I'll work even harder. I'll not accept average or even above average is good enough. I will keep raising that like I become a perfectionist. That is absolutely a scramble. Yeah. Anyone else want to share? Scramble behaviors you're aware of. Yes.
Humor, make people laugh.
Yes. I become the clown.
Yeah, right.
Yep. God, if you think I'm funny, you'll really like me. And then I'll like, what's your question?
It's am I loved?
Am I loved? Yep. If you think I'm funny and you're laughing at my jokes, like, oh, that feels so good. Like, okay, the answer is yes now. That's very good. Okay. Anyone else?
I relate.
Funny, I'm curious. So how do you label Ted Lasso? What do you give him?
Let's have a side conversation.
He's a mess.
Yeah. He's in denial. That's the long and short of it. He's in denial. So, denial is a 3-step process. This is a rabbit trail, folks. This is for free. Denial is see, feel deal. So I'm not going to see what I see. So I don't have to feel what I'm going to feel about it. So I don't have to deal with it. I'm not going to see it, so I don't have to feel it, so I don't have to deal with it. That's denial. And that's actually evidenced in the show. When he goes to meet with the therapist, and instead of like this bubble of optimism, one of his scrambles will be optimism, insatiable optimism, okay? And it's how he survives, okay? The hard things he's going through, his divorce and those types of things. So when he starts meeting with the therapist in that show, he gets really agitated because she's basically breaking his denial process. So there you go. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So, yes?
For me, I'm sorry, Jake.
Yes.
For me, I try to take the people-pleasing mode and turn it over to Jesus. So Jesus loved people, and I'm trying to say, okay, you're the Redeemer, so redeem my insecurity that makes me try to people please and turn it into people serve. Yeah. And serving with the right motives.
Yeah.
Not to earn, brownie points or
Yeah.
all that other stuff, but just the way Jesus, he's washing his disciples' feet. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Tell me your name again.
Even Ted.
Ted.
Even Judas's feet.
Yeah. Ted, you're so far ahead. You're like, you skipped to the end. So we're going to get exactly to.
So, I'm sorry.
No. It's beautiful. We're going to get exactly where you just went. That's where this whole thing is heading.
To redeem all this stuff.
That's right. Yeah. That's the hope that we're working towards here. Okay. Now let's talk about the list to the left of your map. At the top, you got scramble behaviors. This is what you're going to do to try to turn your perceived, that's the key word, perceived no or maybe answer to a yes. On the left, if my scramble behaviors are going to try to turn those answers to a yes, avoidance behaviors are designed to do something completely different. Avoidance behaviors help me minimize or lower the discomfort of that no or maybe answer. So when I scramble, I'm trying to get you to say yes when I perceive you're saying no or maybe. When I avoid, I'm trying to get myself out of any situation where I might experience the discomfort of a no or maybe in the first place. I don't even want to be in that situation. So guess what? I'm not getting up at 6 a.m. to come to man school because I might get a no or maybe there, and I'll just stay home and work in the yard. Okay? Or I'm in a moment where I'm experiencing the burgeoning no or maybe, and I'll just leave, So these behaviors, your primal avoidance behaviors, are the things that you do, the behaviors that you engage in to try to wall up and escape the discomfort of the no or maybe. So for me, for example, I can doom scroll on my phone. I'm starting to feel unloved. All right. Hello, Instagram. Hello, what's that game? Royal match or something where you line up the same items and it clears and it's like a kid's game. I can get lost in whatever that thing's called, Royal Match or something. I can get lost in that because it's like I'm sitting here trying to clear this board and I don't got to face the discomfort of I don't feel loved by my wife right now. So now I'm doom scrolling or I'm lost in a game on my phone. I can fantasize about the future. That's a second avoidance that I use. I'll just get into my head and I'll start dreaming about things I might like to buy someday. I'll start thinking about the next dream vacation that I want to go on. I'll start thinking about the lake house and what I'm going to do with that lake house and which lake I want it on. And I'll start, doing all that kind of stuff, right? So I can start fantasizing about the future. Or third, I can engage insatiably in leisure activities. Like I love bar games, like bags, darts, it's like, dude, let's go have a couple and throw some darts. Let's go play some cricket. Let's go put some money on a bags game and play that for a few hours, and I just kind of get lost in leisure activities, start gathering dudes, and it's not deep and it's not connected. It's just kind of like, it's escape. I don't have to feel unloved. Yeah, Ted?
What's the first one in this box?
Doom scrolling is what I wrote. Doom, D-O-O-M, scrolling, is that right? Yeah.
Why do you say doom?
It leads to doom. Doom scrolling is like I open up Instagram or TikTok or something and I start watching videos and stuff, and next thing I know, I look up and I've been doing it for 2 hours and it feels...
Wasting time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take a moment now, fill out that list on the left. What are some avoidance behaviors that you engage in when you're feeling that no or maybe, or that you think you might get a no or maybe, so you just choose to not engage? I'm not going to pursue my wife because I'll feel rejected by her or something, right? And I'll choose to work in the yard or whatever it is instead. So again, understand the difference. Scramble, you are actively working for a yes, assigning other people in your life the role of reassuring you with the answer to your primal question, okay? Avoidance is, I'm looking to disengage. I don't want to risk the possibility of a no or a maybe, or I want to back away from the early signs of a no or maybe that I'm starting to sense, okay? Who'd be willing to share a couple of your avoidance behaviors with us?
So apparently I'm immensely complicated because I resonate with virtually all of these.
Yep.
Except maybe safety, because it points to that. But so I settled on, thanks to the gentleman over here, am I good enough? Because that may quantify a little of each.
Yep.
Perhaps, but no clear targets. That may be my problem to begin with. My primal avoidance is, number one, is shutdown.
Mm-hmm. Emotionally shut down, like I'm here, but you can't get to me.
Check out.
Like I just, yep, check out.
Number two is my react to my constant list of things to do.
Yes. Never ending to-do list.
So there's always something that I can do that'll make me feel good to accomplish it.
Yep.
And the third one is go to my job, because at my job, I don't feel like I'm being judged so much.
Yep.
Or at least I can be myself and not have to be someone who someone expects me to be.
Yes. Three great awarenesses. Like, here's the stuff I do when I'm trying to get rid of the discomfort of that perceived no or maybe. I'm just going to go back to work. I'm just going to disappear into my never-ending to-do list, or I'm just going to kind of emotionally shut down, wall up. You say whatever, can't get to me, kind of a thing. Great work. Anyone else want to share avoidance behaviors? Yes.
So I think I'm a PQ5 when I'm successful.
Yep.
And when I feel like I'm not being fulfilled at work or feel like I'm, great at what I do, I kind of back into, after work I need to play a video game. I'm really good at those. Or, I need to go camping. I'm great at starting fires and doing all that stuff. I can't be thinking about what people think of me at work. I'm great at these other things that I'm going to be doing.
Yes, double down on skills you already know that you have that can reassure you that, like, hey, I'm up here.
Yeah.
Great, love that. Yes.
Piggybacking, am I successful? I wrote down, if I can't navigate to a control position, I'll decline participation.
I love that. Just I'm tapping out. Yeah, I'll just tap out.
Excuse me, would you repeat that, sir?
If I can't navigate to a control position, I'll decline participation.
Yeah.
That's pretty authentic.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. Okay, it's important to note there is a benefit to scrambling and to avoiding the way that we do. Okay, you're not a bad person because you do those things. There's an ROI, or you wouldn't do it. Okay, we get some value out of it. But often the price we're paying for that benefit is too high. And that means it's time to practice a different way of being in the world. The challenge with that, of course, is these predictable scramble and avoidance behaviors are well established and have likely been practiced for most of your life. So they are not going to go away quietly, and they are probably not going to go away quickly. But the natural next question we then have to ask is, what can I do about it? If I've got this primal question, the deepest emotional need I have, that I'm walking into every room with, and my brain's always asking my question without my permission, and that's starting to drive these scramble and avoidance behaviors, which don't have great outcomes relationally and sometimes professionally and whatever else there is, okay? What can I do about that? Well, notice, if you will, the line below that PQ box there on your map at the center that's labeled primal truth, okay? My primal truth. Now, rarely in psychology, theology space is the opposite of a thing the answer. Hardly ever is that the case, okay? But in this case, that is absolutely true. For example, my primal question is, am I loved? My primal truth is, I am loved. That's just what's true. If your primal question is, am I safe? Your primal truth is, I am safe. I can take care of me. I can figure it out. If your primal question is, am I successful? Your primal truth is, I am successful. And we can start to collect the evidence of all the ways that that's true, okay? So whatever your primal question is, I simply want you to flip it. And I want you to write that in your primal truth blank. I am wanted. I am good enough. I do have a purpose. The positive affirmation of whatever your primal question is goes in that blank. Now, as a PQ3, the truth of my life, again, is I am loved. Maybe not by everybody. Okay, maybe not by the guy who cut me off in traffic or the idiot who called my shot out in pickleball. But the truth is, I am loved by some, probably even by those that I choose, those that are most important to me. And when I am able to stop walking around requiring the world and everyone in it to reassure me that I am loved, and I can accept my primal truth that I already am, it unleashes what's called my primal superpower. And you have one too. In fact, each of the primal questions has a very specific superpower connected to it. And when you become aware of that superpower that you're carrying, it empowers you to start walking into rooms, not by trying to assign everybody else the role of answering your primal question for you, but rather walking into rooms bringing the value that you bring to offer others. I'm going to tell you what those are now, and as I reveal them, I'd like you to go ahead and write your superpower in the box at the very bottom of your map, my primal superpower. So here are the superpowers associated with each question. There's my primal superpower connection. We'll come back to that. PQ1s. Your primal superpower is courage. When you're grounded in your primal truth, no one is more willing to step into risk, advocate for others, and create environments where people feel safe. Nobody. Okay? Wish we had some in here. That'd be a great superpower to have. PQ2s, your superpower is loyalty. Again, a PQ2 is, am I secure? When you're grounded in your primal truth, you become steady. You become faithful anchors in relationships. You show up, stay committed, and build long-term trust better than anybody. Loyalty. That's the superpower of the PQ2. PQ3s, you saw it on my map a minute ago. Your superpower is connection. When you're grounded in your primal truth, nobody oozes relational warmth. Nobody offers empathy like when you are grounded in your primal truth. And you intuitively create belonging and emotional bonds easily with other people. Okay? PQ4s, am I wanted? Your superpower is inclusion. When you are grounded in your primal truth, you naturally gather people, you naturally build community, and you ensure others always feel seen and they always feel invited. PQ5s, am I successful? Your superpower is achievement. When grounded in your primal truth, you bring drive, you bring productivity, you bring efficiency and excellence that helps individuals, that helps groups, that helps the organizations that you're a part of accomplish meaningful goals. Okay, so achievement is the superpower of the PQ5. PQ6s, am I good enough? Your superpower is contribution. Your willingness to serve something greater than yourself and to make a meaningful impact through your gifts comes alive when you're grounded in your primal truth. And the result is not only your flourishing, it's the flourishing of others. And then finally, PQ7s, do I have a purpose? Your superpower is vision. When you are grounded in your primal truth, I do have a purpose, it unlocks your ability to see possibilities, to give clear direction, and you help people and organizations move towards a meaningful future better than anybody. Okay? So courage, loyalty, connection, inclusion, achievement, contribution, vision is what gets unlocked when you are grounded in your primal truth. So that's amazing, right? Can you imagine the freedom and the empowerment you'd feel if instead of walking into rooms needing everyone else to reassure you with a yes to your primal question, instead of that, you walked in understanding who you are and the value that you bring to a space, and you started operating from your superpower? Do you understand the impact that you would have at your church, in your neighborhood, at your work, in your family, if that became your operating system? I'm here to tell you that not only is that really hopeful, that's really possible. But how can we do it? The way you start operating from your primal superpower instead of from your scramble and avoidance behaviors is this. You must practice answering your own primal question with a yes. You've got to take back the responsibility you've hung on everybody else to do it for you. It's going to be my wife's job to answer my primal question with my, you got to reassure me I'm loved. It's going to be my boss's job to reassure me I'm successful. You know, I'm going to hang that on everybody else. You take back your power. You take back the responsibility you've assigned to everybody else, and you say to yourself, I will now be responsible to ground myself in my primal truth. I will now be the one that answers my own question with a yes. How do you do that? May I draw your attention to the right side of the map titled, My Primal Grounding Looks Like. Now, on this part of the map, you're going to list practices that effectively ground you in your primal truth. If you are a PQ1, none in here, but that person would ask, what are some daily practices or some weekly practices I can do that will reassure me of my truth that I am in fact safe? If you're a PQ6, what are some daily practices or some weekly practices you can engage in that remind you I am good enough? Okay. I'm a PQ3, am I loved? Now, how on earth am I supposed to reassure myself that I'm loved? Doesn't someone else have to do that for me? Well, the answer is sometimes. You know, it feels good when I'm reassured by others that I'm loved. But here we're focused primarily on the practices I can activate on my own and don't necessarily require someone else. So for example, I just got a new one of these because my last one broke. I used it so much, and those beads were worn thin around the middle, and the cross wasn't silver anymore. Literally just got this one a couple days ago because the other one broke. But this is a cross bracelet. It's filled with wooden beads, and then there's a silver cross on there. One of my primal grounding practices, I'll do this throughout my day. I'll finish a session with somebody, or I'll finish facilitating a group or something, and then I'll sit on my couch quietly for about 5 minutes, and I'll start with a bead on one side of the cross, and I'll roll it in my fingers with my eyes closed, and I'll say to myself, He loves me. I'm talking about Jesus. I go to the next bead, and I'll say to myself, He loves me. He loves me. And I'll work my way all the way around this bracelet. And you get to a point where you forget there's anything else on this thing but these beads. But eventually the next thing I grab isn't a bead, it's the cross. And I'll feel that cross in my fingers, and I'll say to myself, He loves me. And I'll meditate on the cross. Okay? And then I'll probably end it by quoting Ephesians chapter 3. Pray that I'll have power together with all the Lord's holy people to understand how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge. Okay? So that's one practice. I could write cross bracelet meditation over here on one of these practices that I can engage in, don't need the help of anybody else, to ground myself in my primal truth. What are some practices? They can be experimental practices at first. You kind of have to try them to know if they work over a period of time. So it's okay if they're experimental. But go ahead and creatively think about what are some things I can do to answer my own primal question and stop requiring my spouse to, or stop requiring my kids to, or stop requiring my coworkers to, or whatever it is, okay? And go ahead and fill those in. And as you do, go ahead. I've got a couple other things on here. I actually put pickleball as a way I ground myself in my primal truth because I love it. And if I say, no, I'm not going to disappear into my chore list, I'm actually going to go play pickleball because it gets my blood pumping and it's socializing, and it's me loving me well. Like, I'll love me because I can love me. Another thing I wrote, recite scripture. So I've memorized lots of verses like the Ephesians 3 passage that I can recite to myself, reminding me that I am loved. What are some things you can do? Ted?
Ephesians
That's Ephesians 3, let's see here. 16 through 19. Ephesians 3, 16 through 19. What's that? Yes, you got it. All right, what are some, as you guys are filling that out, what are some practices you're identifying that you think you could use to help ground yourself? Yep.
People say, how do you do it? And I say, I'm blessed. And scripture-wise, not like scripture, but it's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trusting in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding.
Yes.
Acknowledge him in all you do, and he will make straight your path.
Yes.
The last one is working out.
Yes. Yep. Prioritizing that time, taking care of my body. This is like, I will love me. You know, what's your question? Your primal question? Of the 7?
Am I loved?
Am I loved? Yep. Yeah. I will love me.
But see, on the other side, I have to fight isolation,
Oh, yeah.
sabotaging, but I also continually, Jesus loves me.
Yes. That is what these primal grounding practices are designed to do. I will fight the sabotage. I will fight the isolation. How? I'm going to the gym to work out. I'm giving my testimonies of God's faithfulness, you know. So those are great grounding practices. I love that. Okay, Ted, yes.
As you're going through your lesson here, and I've thought this before, you probably have, probably most of us thought it, what was Jesus' secret weapon for handling his rejection? And he never lost sight of it. He was always grounded in the, even when he was asking for a loophole
Yeah.
to get out of the crucifixion.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And he's in the garden, he's looking for a loophole.
Yeah.
If there's any way I can get out and go
That's
to the
right.
stupid cross tomorrow, you know, I love that about Jesus.
And what were his grounding practices?
He never lost sight of the fact that his heavenly Father always loved him.
Time with the Father.
That was his baseline, right?
That's right. Time with the Father, marinating in his love. Incredible grounding practice. Okay, to finish our time today. So go ahead and you can experiment with some practices that could effectively help ground you in your own primal truth so you stop making everybody else have to do it for you. To finish our time today, I want to draw your attention again to the bottom of the map. These 3 circles down here on the bottom, right above your primal superpower. That's your primal living. It says define your primal living. Here's what those bubbles are. If you can effectively ground yourself in your primal truth, what new kinds of behaviors, when your superpower gets unleashed, starts to become true of how you relate, how you lead, how you love, okay? So for me, I start creating spaces of belonging. That's one of the behaviors I gather people. We sit around campfires, smoke cigars, talk about life, how you doing. Like, I start creating these spaces of belonging almost better than anybody. That's one of the true living things that I do. I become insatiably interested in others, not with an agenda. Like, genuinely, I'm fascinated by people. And I genuinely start to ask questions. I become curious. I become so interested in them. I really see people when I'm grounded in my primal truth. And then a third thing that I do, I call it soul seeing. And that's kind of what I just described. I can see underneath other people's behavior. I can see underneath whatever off-putting thing they just said or the pejorative way they're interacting. I can see underneath it all. I can really see who they are in their soul and even help draw it out, okay? So those are some of my true living behaviors when I'm grounded effectively in my primal truth. What are some of yours? And you can take time after this session to kind of start filling that out. Here's some of the ways that I begin to behave and relate and live and love and lead when I'm grounded in my primal truth. Okay? Only other thing I'm going to say, and I'm all done, is if you want to engage in this subject matter more, you can scan this QR code, and it's going to give you a link to sign up for an email sequence from my practice, Plumline. It's like, I don't know, 8 or 12 or something emails that will come over the next few weeks that just keeps going deeper into the 7 primal questions, the insights that comes from those, and it'll come straight to your inbox. It's all value-driven, kind of stuff. And so if you're interested in that, you can scan that to sign up. And that's it. Thanks for listening and participating.
A special thanks to our Man School sponsor, Phone Plus. Business telephone service, custom branding, marketing, quality, security, stability, guaranteed savings. PremierPhonePlus.com.